Hello folks, again Darren Chang here doing another review. This is a messenger bag by the company Fuel. It's F-U-L with a long sign over the U. And this is their messenger bag called the Out and About. And it retails for about $70, which is a pretty good deal. For most bags in this category are around $100. So let's take a look at it. We're going to go from the outside to the in. Held together, the front is held together with a couple of solid Fastex buckles here. There is no pocket or anything on the front, the cover itself, which is kind of a shame because this is a lot of real estate here and it would be nice to have some sort of front pocket here which would allow you easy access to something without having to go into the bag itself. So that's too bad. The flap, having a flap pocket of some sort is always a good idea. It does have a nice stiff flap to it. At least the front edge of it is nice and stiff, so it's going to keep it looking nice and neat for a long time. And of course, you can hear there's a little Velcro in there, not too much, so it'll be easy to cover that up and get it silenced. Okay, so on the front here, we have a small organizer pocket, which reveals it's pretty deep. It goes all the way to the bottom, so there's a good amount of space that goes down low. The only thing I would say is that it feels like it would be much easier to access all your stuff, your pens, your wallet, whatever you want to keep in here, if this was wider. So the fact that it's such a narrow slot is kind of funny. You'll see in a moment why they chose to do it that way. There is a pocket here for a cell phone. It would only fit an iPhone 5S in terms of size. It has a Velcro flap to keep it in there. It has 4 different spots for pens or styli, and a slot behind that pen holding area into which you could slide, probably not something as wide as a wallet, but similar to an iPhone would be able to go in there. You have a zippered pocket behind all of this. Now, the funny thing is about the zippered pocket is it's pretty hard to access. You'll see that the actual zipper starts sort of behind the edge of this zippered area, so you really have to reach in there and find it. It doesn't have any sort of extra tab hanging off it to make it easy for you to find, and so it's a little bit awkward. And then in here you have a pocket that encompasses this entire black area that you have here, so you could fit quite a bit in here. It's not gusseted, however, so if you put anything here that has any three-dimensionality to it, say like a battery backup or something, it's really going to bulge out or bulge into the bag and you know, potentially create some problems with volume. All right, and then it does go all the way to the bottom, like I said, so you could just throw something into this pocket. Maybe you want to just take your wallet and stick it deep into that area if you would prefer to do that. Well, you'll see why their choice was to make this such a narrow little area right here, because they decided to create a good-sized pocket off on this side. Now, you'll notice that you enter this through sort of a D-shaped opening here, so it's zippered D-shaped opening here. I would say that it's kind of a funny, I'm not sure why you'd want to have side entry when you have to go in and then down. It would have been preferable to have the zipper go all the way to the bottom, or maybe a zipper at the top that you could reach down into. It's not lined or anything. It would be great if this was fleece lined, because then I could imagine putting in my sunglasses into this. I could still do that, but of course there's no cushioning or anything, and this is potentially, you know, this part of the bag, it often would hit up against things. You know, you're swinging your bag around, you might slam it into the side of a doorway, or you know, there are any number of things that it could hit. So this is a vulnerable spot, which means I wouldn't really want to trust having my sunglasses in here. Not to mention that it's a little bit awkward to reach in there and find my glasses and pull them out. But it is a pocket, so whether or not you consider it to be a useful opening or not is up to you. Let me go ahead and zip these guys up. And then over on this side, a similar thing, except this is an elasticized top, so it goes straight down. Again, I might choose to put sunglasses in here. If this were the case, I would probably end up putting my sunglasses into a case first and then sliding it in. Not as convenient, of course, because I have to take my sunglasses out of a case, but it's there as an option. And there's no cover to this, so you'd have to make sure that it's something that's going to stay down inside of there and won't leap out if this thing, you know, tips over or whatever. Okay, now just inside of this we're going to go into the main compartment of the bag. And inside the main compartment I have a large zippered area. This isn't divided or organized in any way. It's just a big open space. No key fob or anything, which is typical of these things to have a key fob in there. Now I could put, I could choose to put something like a file folder into here, and I could even potentially zip it up. I'd have to cover it up with the flap. It would be a little awkward. So you could keep something as big as a file folder in there. Because it's not divided, it's not terribly convenient. You know, you can imagine taking a whole bunch of cables and maybe a hard drive or something and putting them in here, but they're going to be a total mess in there. You know, you're not going to be able to organize it in such a way that you'd be able to find something very easily. They could all slide around and get stuck on one side and create a sort of a bulge on that. So it's nice to have a zippered pocket here. In some ways, I think I prefer to have had it as just a simple divider. No zipper there. That would actually damage a folder. Just a simple divider there. I could slide folders, etc. Or if it is going to be something that's zippered, to have it divided into at least 2 or 3 different sub-pockets within. And then just inside of this, so we have the large space in there. And you could fit a bunch of things. I mean, I could choose just to stick my folders into there if I wanted to. You'll see in a moment why I choose not to do that. And then behind this, you have the space, the padded pocket for a laptop, and it's going to have no problem fitting a 15-inch MacBook right in there. And then, so let's flap this closed. Let's go to the top here. I have a nice handle. It's got a nice thick three-dimensionality to it. It's like a, you know, thicker than a thumb, basically. It would allow you to carry it for quite a bit of time, holding it just by the handle. And then if you flip this around and take a look at the back, you'll see that we've got an interesting thing going on here. There's an open space here, a channel, to allow it to be more breathable, because now if it's up against your back, it's going to allow for the flow of air. Clearly, I think they've designed it in such a way that if this is on your back at a slight angle, that maybe aligns with your spine. I'm not quite sure. Maybe, I think they're just trying to be interesting with their design. So it's got quite a bit of thick padding here, thick foam, and it's got the mesh, so it'll be more breathable. This side is not mesh, but it's a nice smooth thing. It won't catch on any of your clothing. Nice smooth fabric. They do have this belt that allows you to, if you want to stabilize it a little bit more, to go ahead and wrap it around your waist. It clips off fairly easily, so you don't have to have it if you don't want to. And let's go and take a look at the actual strap here. So you'll see here that the shoulder strap, it goes in at an angle, which is nice. However, because it articulates so much here, it probably is no different than if it didn't go in at an angle. Interesting. And it has a cam buckle that allows you to adjust the length really easily. A nice thick padded shoulder pad here with a rubberized underside, sort of a vinyl rubberized friction area there, so it'll stay on your shoulder. And it is a fully removable thing. You can take it off either side with the metal hardware that's clipped to it. The bottom is a heavy-duty vinyl, and you can see it has this textured dot-like structure on it, much thicker and heavier. It's going to be clearly waterproof to the degree that if you land it right on that spot, nothing's going to get in. And then on the side here, we have a couple of small pockets with elastic on it, on both sides, small pocket. And that, I could imagine putting my car keys in there. It'll hold it nice and tightly in there and hopefully not bounce out. And I did notice that on this side, there's a little lash point here. It's not on the other side, it's only on this side. And the nice thing about this lash point is I have my keys on a lanyard that stretches because I have my ID associated with it, and it allows me to get into buildings and such. I could very easily clip this to this area, and that's a nice convenient place for me to have my ID and keys. So that's a nice little touch there to have that little lash point on there. Okay, so there you have it. Again, this is called the Fuel Out and About. Be sure to read the write-up and see what kind of score I give the Fuel. Make sure you look at all my other reviews too before you buy. See ya.